for me to come out. It must mean I'm a teacher. It must mean I'm not the safe. It must mean I'm on your case. Only me. This is the second episode of Socrates of Lost channel, and we'll be talking about structure of private equity fund. So basically, in private equity fund, it is an arrangement between people who collectively are referred to as limited partners. So the limited partnership is between two entities referred to as the general partner on the one hand and the limited partner on the other hand. So the limited partners are investors, high-ranking individuals, high-net-worth individuals with money who contribute capital to the fund. There are sometimes family offices and other. So these limited partners, they contribute capital to the fund. Upon contribution of capital, they are not interested in the day-to-day activities of the company, and their liabilities is limited to what they contribute. So their liability is limited to the amount of capital they drop. They take no further liability unless they wish to increase their liability by contributing further. So aside that, their liability is capped at what they contribute. So on the other hand, the general partners are the management team. They manage the capital, or the fund rather. They manage the fund while the limited partner contributes capital to the fund. The general partner contributes management to the fund. So these limited partners, they contribute capital to the fund, and they get return in form of profits, in dividends, whatever it is called. So for a general partner, on the other hand, they are in charge of the management. They oversee the day-to-day operations of the business. They are like the limited partner. They are in charge of the management, so they are charged with the day-to-day operation of the business. Whatever happens to it, they are in charge. So limited partners, their liability is capped as to the amount of capital they drop, they contribute to the fund. While general partners on the other hand, traditionally, their liability stock is uncapped. So they are liable for every other any loss or anything that's left to be added to it. So in cases where there is a loss, they are liable for it. Or a way to cap this liability brought about the provision of registration of this company when it is being incorporated as a limited liability company. So their liability is limited. The liability of the company doesn't extend to the shareholders. So the shareholders' liability is limited to the amount of shares contributed. So the company will be the one lying generally a provision in Kano to protect the shareholders from further liability beyond beyond the shares they've invested or the shares they've donated. With the aid of J and Kama, Company and Colored Matters Act 2020, and also the previous Kamas, the liabilities of general partners have been capped with under the guise of limited liability companies. So once you incorporate it as a company, the liability is capped. But traditionally, prior to the incorporation as a company, the liabilities of general partners are uncapped. So basically, limited partners gets return on their investments, who all the general partners also charge management fee of 6% and 20% of the profits made. And sometimes, generally, management teams are being engaged to be in charge of the investment and management of the fund. So sometimes management teams are being engaged to be in charge. An example where these limited partnerships are being. So the first example is this: Lagos State raises 2 billion to invest in early stage fintech startups. So to do this, they would create a fund, and for the fund the fund will be financed by the investors who are the limited partners, and the GPA is the general partners who are in charge of management of the fund. So and the fund is the capital yes to be used in financing. While certain times, like I said in the video, certain times management teams are employed for management of the investment and fund. So another practical example is Vert Capital. So Vert Capital is actually a one equity fund in Nigeria. So imagine if Vert Capital wants or plans to invest in something. So the Vert Capital, they are the general partners. So if they plan to invest in something, they pitch this to investors, and investors who are the limited partners now contribute capital to the fund. The fund is then used to invest in wherever they want to invest in, and on that fund, World Capital will charge a management fee of either 2% or 2.5%, and they also charge 20% on wherever profit is made. So that's basically how the arrangement of private equity works. Thank you for staying to the end of the show. See you on the next.